I have had this Polygon Siskiu T7E in my possession for just shy of a month, a couple days shy of a month. And in that time, I have put exactly 64.6 miles on this thing, roughly translating to about 104 kilometers, which is one, enough time to know that I do like this thing, and two, that I did not give nearly enough care on the initial build of this thing. On the last ride we did with this thing in the last video, the headset was super noisy. I'd like to rectify that now. Here, listen, see if you can hear the headset creaking and cracking. Can you hear that? That's all headset noise. And there's kind of no one but myself to blame for any of those noises starting to kind of rear their head. It's just my own laziness when putting the bike together, not putting the effort into like just quickly pulling out the fork and putting some nice grease in here and just taking my time with it, which is absurd because they literally send you Bikes Online literally sends you a torque wrench. Like I could go over everything and just make sure that everything's perfect. I didn't, and I haven't. So here I am making a video about it on a Tuesday. Honestly, everything else has kind of just been fine with it. I just, I don't love that noise. Like I probably could have put grease on this. I didn't. I didn't. That's really part of the problem with new bike day. It's so exciting. You see a bike is together and you're like, all I need to do is put the front wheel and handlebars on. That's what I'll do. Let that be a future Eric problem. Here's future Eric now. Okay, headset grease. I get the odd comment from time to time where some people are like, hey, you seem like a pretty enjoyable person. You're fun to kind of watch. But these tutorials you make, they're like way too long and you talk too much. So I just want to be clear right now. This isn't meant to be a tutorial. I'm literally just working on my bike and like hanging out with you guys. You guys are all in the camera. I'm not like trying to teach you anything. If you learn something, great, but I'm not trying to teach you anything. Oh, there's actually lots of grease in here. Look at all that grease. That's great. Love to see. I'm gonna add more grease anyway, but there is a lot of grease in here. I kind of like to just have grease anywhere that two materials are gonna kind of touch. Just helps shut everything up, keeps everything happy, makes it so that I don't have to open it up or look at it ever again or think about it or, you know, just in general. A little bit of effort at this point allows my laziness for later on. Through axle's got grease, headset has extra grease in it. We'll know pretty quickly if that helps shut it up. Oh, that's great. Yeah, okay. So one of the like good, but like maybe a little bit funny specs that come in the box with this bike is the pedals. They're like relatively large, which I like. They're a pretty good platform for your foot to sit on. The pins are gnarly. They would wreck your shins if you let them, so lots of grip. And they're aluminum, not plastic, which is great. So I've been happy to run them. The only silly thing is they come with reflectors, which is another point for noise. And I should have taken them off right away, but I didn't. But I am happy to run these until they're like dead. I can see that they're getting pretty beat up, like kind of quick, but performance-wise, they are working. They're working up to where I would want them to be. They're just not gonna last very long. And finally, I do want to give this a once over with the torque wrench on all the pivot points. I don't know if I'm just used to a stiff carbon wheel on Mr. Relatable now, but I just sometimes find that the rear end of this thing has maybe a little bit too much sway back and forth. The axle might not be tight enough, or like some of these may have worked themselves a little bit loose. So like I said, they give you a torque wrench. I'm actually going to use it. Good. Okay, all these pivot points are exactly at the torque they're supposed to be at, which led me to wonder, could it be the wheel? The answer is, I hope you can see this, but yes. The axle is super loose in the hub. So I'm gonna take this apart. I'm gonna investigate that. That's surprising. I wouldn't have thought this would be loose. But that's sort of why I like to take like a new bike they don't have a ton of miles on and just go over it. See if there's anything that's popping out. And this is. I'll be honest, I don't actually know a lot about Shimano hubs. Okay, a little bit of research. You pull the end cap off. I actually didn't expect that to be that easy. Free hub body comes out. Free hub body is kind of what I'm used to seeing. And what's happening is the axle is actually loosening away from the end cap. So I'm just gonna tighten that down a little bit. And in typical Shimano fashion, instead of it just being tools on the outside, you have to pull the free hub body off to get to this opening that you put a small Allen key through. So there's the tool for this side. And then I can just snug this side back up on the axle and get rid of that rear wheel slop. And then free hub body back on. And then the sun cap, I just learned, is a friction fit. So you just pop it back on. Done. And that should be a wheel in much better condition. As fun as it is to joke about not caring, I'm actually going to torque this rear wheel in with the axle torque spec that's on here. It wants 10 Newton meters. I have a feeling that I might have been running it just a little light. This wants 10 Newton meters. Yeah, there's no way I was tightening it that hard. And it probably allowed that end cap to like work itself a little bit loose. Oh my gosh, what an improvement. That's the stiffness that I would like to see in the rear end of a bike. Much better. Well, just shy of a month, 100 kilometers in with this thing. Creaky headset, the stock test ride pedals, well, they're getting chewed away at a little bit, and a loose rear hub. Everything else, totally fine. Honestly, all just stuff that you do sort of see pop up during break-in periods. My expectation is now that I've done this tune-up and gone through it, I'll probably not really see any other issues with this thing unless something truly breaks or if something is faulty. Like if this hub keeps loosening now that I'm really looking at the torque of the through axle and it continues to loosen and be a problem, then I know that that's actually an issue and it's not something I've done. All that said, happy I did this, because if you do leave that stuff alone, it does become a problem. So if you own one of these and you've got your 100 kilometers under your belt, I hope you do take the time to just give it a once over. Honestly, if you've got any bike, do that. It is worth it. You want to catch stuff early so that you can just rectify it instead of replace it. Interested in one of these or any bike from Bikes Online, check out my link below. If you go through my link, well, I get a little bit of kickback, makes me look good. Where should we go ride this thing next?